Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're diving into the life of an incredible figure from Christian history, Saint Artemon. He was a priest, a miracle worker, and a martyr who stood firm in his faith during a time of intense persecution. Join me as we explore his amazing story filled with fiery destruction of idols, miraculous healings, and ultimately a powerful testament to the strength of belief. Growing up in a Christian family in the city of Laodicea in Syria, Artemon spent many hours in church. He continued his service for decades, first as a reader, then as a deacon, and finally as a priest. So when the Emperor Diocletian began a fierce persecution of Christians, Artemon was already an old man, but he was still full of energy. When he and his bishop Sicinios heard that a military commander sent by the emperor would soon be arriving in the city, they took action. They knew the commander intended to force people to worship the idols in the temple of the goddess Artemis, so they smashed and burned both the idols and the temple, ensuring that people couldn't be compelled to worship there. Then they gathered all the Christians into a local church and urged them to be strong in faith and to resist the torture that was sure to come at the hands of the pagan commander whose name was Patricius. The people were heartened by the words of Artemon and Bishop Sicinios, who was known as a saintly man who helped and healed many. Artemon and Sicinios didn't try to hide the fact that they had destroyed the idols. Patricius had already come into Laodicea and had led a 5-day celebration in honor of the pagan gods. Now he was coming to the temple of Artemis to offer sacrifice. He soon learned who had destroyed the temple and sent a detachment of soldiers to the church where the Christians were gathered. But as he made his way to the temple, he suddenly felt terribly ill. "The Christians have put a curse on me, and their God is tormenting me," Patricius cried out. Terrified that he might die, he prayed to the pagan gods, especially Artemis, but nothing relieved his suffering. He was so weak that he could no longer sit up on his horse. He had to go into the nearest house along the way and demanded a bed to lie down on. Finally, he sent a messenger to Saint Sicinios, asking for his help in exchange for gold. The holy bishop was brought to Patricius's bedside and said, "Keep your gold, but if you wish to be healed, believe in Jesus Christ." He prayed over the pagan commander, who declared that he did believe in Christ as true God and soon regained his wellness and strength. For a while, everything was calm and the Christians could worship in peace. But Patricius's declaration of faith in Jesus Christ had only been a way of escaping the severe illness that had so frightened him. Before long, he was again leading his soldiers on horseback, ready to arrest Christians and enforce the emperor's edict. Riding along one day, he saw an old man followed by 6 wild donkeys and 2 deer who seemed to be his companions. Intrigued by this curious sight, Patricius asked the old man how it was possible that these wild beasts would follow him so meekly. The old man said, "Everything and every creature in the world confesses the name of Christ, and with true faith in him, all things are possible." Patricius was impressed by these words, but later when he found out that the old man was Artemon, who had helped burn the temple, he gave orders for him to be arrested and taken to the city of Caesarea. Artemon went willingly with the soldiers but sent his animals to Bishop Sicinios. There one of the donkeys received the gift of speech from God and was able to tell Sicinios where Artemon was. The holy bishop made a small package of prosphora and instructed a deacon to ride the donkey to Caesarea and take the package to Artemon with his blessing. At Caesarea, Patricius brought Artemon to trial in front of a pagan temple and tried to make him worship the gods. Artemon refused and called on Patricius to open the doors of the temple. In this particular temple there were many deadly snakes. Seeing them, Artemon made the sign of the cross and commanded them all to come out.